Right, so let's go through. We don't need the supports now. I'll just keep S1 range that we had. We don't need lower. They are not required now. So this is 1 day scale. Um what I see here is now, of course, there's no major breakout. What we're seeing here is it is making new high. If you look at little bit of, let's say yesterday it made a little higher in terms of price, but there is no major structural change as far as this consolidation is concerned. Nothing is worrisome. It's rather boring because it's kind of stuck in this range. If you take this 46 to 50k range, it's stuck for how many, like many days, right? And if you consider whole entire thing, then there's no major movement as we see for alts. We had seen this like middle of the August, this level, and now there's not much of a change for Bitcoin in terms of price. Hardly 10% up in last 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So that's a boring part. However, it's not hurting at this moment. If you look at it, it's not hurting alts. In fact, alts are dominating. The Bitcoin dominance is reducing. So definitely there are opportunities with selective alts, if not all the alts. So BTC to me is, this is still a consolidation phase as part of this recovery wave. And I was expecting it to break above yesterday, but it looks like it's having a weekend off, and it's doing nothing, kind of flat. If you look at it, it's doing nothing at this moment. It's neither dropping or rising, so it's just flat at this moment. And which is okay. If you're not trading BTC, it's okay, because this kind of behavior doesn't hurt us. Sometime when the BTC drops all of a sudden by a couple of percentage, then it brings down alts. But this kind of movement doesn't hurt alt, and which is good. Most of the traders are trading with other coins, not BTC. Okay, so I'll just mute everyone. Right, so this is 1 day scale. I think if I let me go at a lower scale. So this is still structure wise. If you look at, there were two hit, multiple hits actually, but mainly this level is a strong support level. And as I mentioned, this is a zone. This zone is important. Now this is far away, so there's nothing to worry about. Earlier we saw how 49350, everybody will remember this level, I think, for many days, that how bad this was, the whole entire zone though, but this, especially this level, was really a roadblock. If you look at how many attempts it made, that you could see that on 4 hour scale, maybe more if you see 1 hour scale. And then the same is now support. And there was a quick dip, but this is intraday, nothing at a daily level. That's also important. Sometimes there can be some spikes, upward or downward, during the day, but not necessarily that's a game changer. So I think this is another perspective you can also develop. If you don't, that sometime you have to wait for the end of day, which is logical. End of day in crypto, there's no end of day, because it's 24/7, unlike traditional market which closes at a specific time. So there is no closure, but there is still end of day concept. Because it's based on UTC time. So if there is any intraday movement, I think you can safely ignore it. But I open 4 hour just to show you the inner structure of this consolidation, especially this part where it was trying to reject the price, and showing how now it is able to remain above that 49350, right? So again, this it to spend some time here, spending some time here, it has to move on. If you look at this curvature, still it's not able to break above this. So I don't see this as a risk, and I don't assume, as I say many times, but always highlight that, as I highlighted last week, that we were here. Before that, we were here, and it's following this arch. So now we are here. Now this is better. It's flattening, so it could break above. If it comes down to this level, then it's bad, really bad. It is not here, so we don't have to think. But in case if it comes down, so today, this week, I'm not going to spend time. I think last week I spent time on this scenario, which actually was helpful because it came down to this level. Of course, not at this level. Now we are here, right? So unless and until it comes down to this level, I don't think you have to be worried. So this is something, and this is weekly call. So during the week, if you see this price comes down to this level, always remember this is a threat. And because, especially because this is consolidation, and if it comes down to this, statistically, historically, this level might not be able to hold next blow and break down, right? And if that happens, we'll have a call and we'll talk about it. But this is just a scenario at this moment. So your risk management planning point of view, your alert has to be set somewhere here and here, so you get two alerts just in case, and then you have ample time for you to readjust your plan. So I think two alerts are needed. One is just below this bounce, which is like around $48,200. There can be one alert and then another alert here. If you can set two alerts, that will give enough time for you to adjust and plan for any potential risk. For now, there's nothing. It's boring, but there's no risk. I'll zoom out a bit. Let's see, and I'm going to hide the drawings now. 3-day. Now this is much better. This candle is giving hope that it's not down. If you hide this one, last week this was not good. Let me tell you, this was scary. Of course, not like a doomsday kind of a thing. What I mean is scary in a sense, it wasn't ready to move up. From that point of view, it doesn't mean that it was crashing down, but this was critical area where if it could have gone down like this level, 42, 42, 44, and it would have wasted a lot of time, and also many else would lose momentum, right? Which we didn't want, because we have seen enough, and now it is coming up. We don't want another plunge. But this could have actually gone down here, but thanks to this move, we are not in that situation. So we are coming out of this. However, we need one more push, right? And if it could break above, then this thing has to broken. This has to be broken. That's what we're expecting. So this is on edge and upper edge, so that's a plus point, right? This is not somewhere here. And that's why if you look at it, why 46K level is important, because there were so many bounces from here, and if it comes down to this level, then it is going to create additional pressure, and that won't be good. And that's why if it comes down to here, it could come down really up to this level, and again, waste of time. As I say, again, there's nothing to worry about, because then it will come back unless it really goes down further, which is not a case at this moment, right? So anyway, so this is still a good level on a 3-day scale. Let's quickly look at weekly. Weekly is getting better. If you look at it, during the week, this wasn't the case. This was like a doji, undecisive candle. It had no clue what to do, and this was getting this came down to this level, so it was threatening. But now if you look at, today is Saturday, and now still a day left, and anyways, so this is much better, and it is clearly indicating that it wants to go up. It's just a matter of time. Maybe it may make a move maybe in next couple of days or so. It depends. We never know. Nobody knows. But point is, this move has brought a balance and negated this potential downside move. So now, weekly has turned positive now, which wasn't the case during the week. Let's zoom out more and see monthly. Monthly has been good. I had mentioned last week as well. Monthly, absolutely no issue. We are on the first week of this month, and there's good progress. In fact, if we in 4 days only we make this progress. So I think this is monthly is strong. Sometimes you have to zoom out to clear your head, because if you're too much into intraday movement, and there will be many people on different medium post, platforms, keep on saying something and trying to judge coins on every few hours. So be careful whom to listen and all, because sometimes it just spoils your head. And of course you have to be better judge, but I think with point is, try to zoom out, try to avoid 1 day scale. Even sometimes intraday, clear no in my unless you are a day trader and doing some kind of scalping on a few hourly basis, then it's a different story and different purpose, right? So everybody, if you're not that kind of a intraday trader or day trader, then I think it's just noise and worry you. So never avoid. I would say I wouldn't say never, but avoid those low time scale or time frame charts and posts and comments and all, because that's noise. It doesn't help. Anyway, so that's my take. So monthly is good in my opinion. I think let's open that long term, our long term chart. What is that? My bad. This is we'll also look at dominance actually. This is our long term, right? And this is without drawings. Now it's clearly showing how it is progressing. So this is the first plunge as part of this bull run. You have to avoid this. I mean, ignore this candle. This is a detour from a COVID fall, February, March last year. But this is the bull run. Actually, beginning of the bull run started in the month of February 2019, and then this was the first major correction, and this had to go up from here, from month of January 2020 last year. But this is a detour, and then it resumed from March, and that's how I view this one or interpret this one. And then you know the story of all this. So on a from a big picture point of view, I think I posted last yesterday. There are four phases: first one, second one, third one, and this is the fourth one. As part of the fourth one, you can break down that it's, first of all, this is a correction of the third one, right? And then this is a beginning, and there is first downturn or counter trend. So this is a primary trend which started on month of February 2019, which is still going on. And there are two major counter trend. One, this one, which is longer, pretty long, and this is steep one, scary one, quick one. But the same time, if you look at it, both the nature of this correction, both are deep correction. Of course, you have to ignore this spike because this was not for long. Actually, this is very short period. So you may consider this as a bottom of our base, like, which is mid 6,000, like 6,500 something. So this was the beginning, this was the top 14K, and then 6,500. This is the retracement, and then continuation of the primary trend. And this is another counter trend which was very sharp. But if you look at the recovery, so this was a slow fall and a slow rise. If you look at this, it's like a, if you see the angle or curve, this is like slow correction and slow rise, right? So this is left hand side. If you think this is a middle part, then this is right hand side, and then a quick recovery. This is a breakout, and then steep correction, and followed by relatively steep recovery at this moment. And if it can make a big move in month of September, you can say a kind of a U-shaped recovery, correct? um, so this is a big high level view and a big perspective. This is very important. You keep looking at a monthly scale chart. It's a very important, as I said earlier, that it clears your mind and clearly show you where a coin stands. And then, if you're worrying about something for whatever reason. Okay, so this is a long term macro scale chart where so this is a fourth phase and two counter trend that you saw. And if this is getting longer and longer, if you look at this one, this is steeper. Correction was steeper, then little the angle change, right, lesser. It's not as steep as the previous one. And in the even the correction took time, and this is even lesser. The angle, I mean, if you look at the slope of this wave, so even slow but longer, if you see. So if you look at it, the angle is reducing and the period is expanding. The phases are expanding. So if you count that the bull run started from February until whatever December, approximately 22 months, let's say, and then if this is like started in February and this is still on, so it can go longer from what we're seeing here, right? So that's what it looks like at this moment. Now this could go up like this around 80. First it will go back to 60K plus level, and then 80K and so on. And then it should continue moving up like this, right? And that is phase 4, which is still in progress, right? So this is the longest one. This is going to be the longest one. We don't know what will happen next, whether it will make a even get steeper or not. But one thing is for sure, that it's getting flattened. It's getting flattened. So this is the right now the big. Let me enable this drawing. So we are going to see some kind of a movement like this. But if you look at this chart, it's bending that way. So it might reach to this 6-digit figure, right? Somewhere here, we don't know. If it takes longer, then it will go higher. So that's the interesting stuff. In year 2022, if it moves at this angle, maybe if the angle changes, then it will go higher even, right? Or so it depends how long it goes, what angle it. But this is the right now, this is how it looks like. This is a straight line, so I didn't put this yellow arch here. And of course there was no previous correction, it's just a beginning. So this would explain more how sharp this was, then more flattened, even more flattened. And maybe, I don't know, there may be some stagnation in future. We don't know yet. Very hard to say at this moment. But there can be stagnation, because any asset, if you look at it, I mean, there is always some stagnation. It depends. But if we just project, because it's a projection, right? It's not anyone knows the future. But with this logic, if this logic with this logic and pattern that we see, if it continues, then if there may be this phase, like here it will react, come down, go through some correction, and then create another one. But it might not move as it used to move. In my opinion, Bitcoin has become very, very non-volatile. Is the people think that it's dropping and all. Because most of the trader actually started trading after 2017. Very few people were part of 2016 and 2017 and 2018. And I don't think, I personally, I started in 2015, 2016. So I'm not sure before that how many were there. But if anyone was there in this phase, would know that how brutal this market was, or Bitcoin was. This phase, if you look at on the left hand side, was like any alt, right? So it's like a river. When the river, at the place of birth, it's always violent, right? But then when it progresses, when it then it become more, I would say, silent that way. So I see the same thing, that when an asset bonds like that, there's volatility. Of course, the many factors, but now it is getting silent. It's not that violent. It's not that volatile, and that's the nature, or that's the change or a pattern I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Whatever we are seeing right now, this is the best version one can imagine, in terms of stability, because I have never seen Bitcoin as stable as current phase. Um, right. So this is like amazing. So when people talk about dip and correction, and when they get worried, I sometimes smile, because, and I understand, because for them it's a big deal, but they haven't seen how it used to be in past. So probably they're comparing with their own experience, and their experience is limited. But if they had seen this phase, then they would have realized how Bitcoin was. So this is the best version of Bitcoin you can imagine in terms of price movement. And I'm highlighting this point just to convey that you cannot expect better than this from my perspective. Okay. The one more thing with Bitcoin dominance, let's look at that. So Bitcoin dominance is plunging. That means more, you can interpret that more money is getting into other coins, right? Which is straightforward. And this can be a retest. Interestingly, this is not a price chart. This is market cap. But interestingly, TA thing works, and that's what happened in past when it was here, and I provided the S1 and S2 and provided this range, and it did bounce. And when I saw the bounce and everything, it seems is even this chart is following technicals, which is just, I think, nature of the nature, great nature, and that things are somehow explained explain in this kind of mathematical structure or technical structure. In my point of view, I don't have the reason why, but I know that it works, and that's helping us. So this was resistance, and it came down. As you could see, we talked about this one, that it could go down and retest this. And I think, so right now there is no sign of BTC, but it could BTC bounce, but it could bounce from here. So I think this area is still an area where BTC could, so you can consider that it has come down to retest. For example, it came down here to retest. If you look at the year 2018, and then it went up, right? So this can be a retest, and if you put whole entire thing, then you can say this whole entire thing is a retest of 20 yeah, Jan 2018, right? So if this was the low and this is the another low, which can be a retest, so you may interpret this. So you see, this is a parent one and this is a child one. So this particular move was a retest of this move or low, and this particular move is a retest of this one. I hope it makes sense now, right? So this is, I would say, this is a parent one and this is a child one, because these are fractals, they repeat. This is how they manifest, right? Okay, so so this I think coming weeks very important, because right now you know that BTC is silent. Now if it starts moving up, so you can consider this, the retest is complete, and then BTC will start eating up market cap again in that case. But I think it's going to be very interesting, and I don't know, I just have feeling that feeling in a sense, uh, the way the coins are getting innovation, like they're innovating a lot. It's not they're like maximalists say that everything is trash and just Bitcoin is superhero and all. I don't believe in it. It has significance, but I think 40% dominance is too much in my point of view. One coin shouldn't have this much of dominance. It's not democratic. It's more dictatorship kind of a regime or ecosystem. So any space, I mean, in my point of view, this is 40% dominance is too much. I personally like Bitcoin to be around 20-30% range, which is decent enough somewhere here. I would just draw this one, roughly speaking. It it could come down to this level. It's too early to say. I'm going to watch it further. So don't see. I'm not going to draw an arrow, but right now I'm going to keep this level here. See, it's not happening at this moment, but I wish it happens. Not because I don't like Bitcoin, but I would like all the alts to to flourish without any dominance from Bitcoin, because at this moment everybody knows what happens to alt when the BTC goes down. I would really like that to disappear slowly, and this is the chance, and this is the level. So if this level is compromised, then I'm confident then it will look for this kind of a level. Maybe not right away, but slowly, progressively, and then it might sit near. Maybe I'm this little too extreme here. Maybe I should keep the 25 to 30 range like this. For now, it could come down to this level. When if this happens, then you will see some of the coins will really do something differently, especially Ethereum or some of the top ones. And they may not, so they may start diverging. In my point of view, Ethereum could be the first coin which could diverge. See, when like for example Solana is moving up for many days, I don't think it's divergence, it's just a demand, mm, for now, but not necessarily a divergence. Divergence in a true sense has to be for many weeks, and preferably for months, and especially when BTC drops. If a coin doesn't drop, then it's a sign, not just once but multiple times. Then you can say it's really diverged. And once we get that level, in my point of view, that's the level we would like to see. I would like to see at least the crypto space, because then the different coins will have their own identity, which is so important. Like stocks, in stock it doesn't happen. You still have sectors in stock, like healthcare or retail or tech or pharma or some other. There are sectors, so maybe sector follow in one direction, but if across the sector they don't follow. So I would like to have sectors in crypto space. So let's say a blockchain as a sector, NFT as a sector, DeFi as a sector, supply chain as a sector, identity as a sector. There can be so many other use cases you could think of as sector. Wallet is a sector, DEX is a sector. It's a technical domain, not a business domain, but it's a technical domain, right? So some infrastructure projects, some search engines, some distributed browsers, or so many things you could imagine. Those are sectors, and those sectors could flourish independence of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, I would say, it's still a payment domain, right? It's a payment area. But right now that payment area is kind of dominating the whole entire system. And what I see, payment is not about everything, and that's what I would like to see. So that's why Bitcoin shouldn't be dominating the whole entire space, which is beyond payment. So that, let's see. I mean, I think the next few weeks will tell us. So that's why this chart is important. So dominance chart is important to see the weightages, but dominance chart is not about judging alts, because it's like 1 versus few thousand. So you have to choose good ones among those few thousands, like I don't know how many, 5 6 thousand coins, right? So it's not that if Bitcoin is going down means all the alts are doing well. No, I mean, when the Bitcoin dominance goes down, it doesn't mean all the alts are doing well. um, you had to again go and see what all alts are doing well. So there is subjectivity when you choose coins. So many people think that BitB or BTC dominance is going down. That means that's alt season, and I say there is no alt season. There are, you have to pick good coins which would have which will have good run up. I'm sure much better than BTC, and I think we should be focusing on that or those rather than saying that it's alt season, because it's a too broad categorization in my point of view. Very general idea, and I think we need some kind of subjectivity where we can say, okay, these are the coins which will outperform Bitcoin. Then it makes sense. So that's my take on dominance and overall, alts versus Bitcoin, this topic. I think I covered everything in my point of view. So I'll stop here and take your questions if there is.